Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, April 9th. The City Council meeting was on Monday, and I wanted to wait a couple days because there are a couple interesting meetings that I had Tuesday and Wednesday that I wanted to include in this update as well. City Council meeting on Monday was pretty anticlimactic with regards to a couple things, but I just wanted to run you through some things that did come up that were discussed. A few items on the consent agenda that got pulled and were discussed pretty heavily. One of them is a request to reclassify police deputy chief position. I don't know the background on this, but there was obviously a lot more to this than what was included in the packet, and we ended up not effectively taking any action on it for now, just because some of us wanted a little bit more understanding of what exactly was going on. And I was quite honest in saying that I wanted to hear a little bit more about it, just because there was obviously some background there that I didn't see. So we're going to have to find out exactly what the concern is with what's being proposed from a taxpayer standpoint. And it looks like the move could potentially save taxpayers maybe $30,000 a year. So it's certainly something that I'm interested in looking into. We had one business that came up with, looking for some licenses, and flip to the page here real quick. We specifically denied one company their license. And it was El Regio Mexican Grill, and the reason that they were denied is because the apparently they're not up to code on some things. They haven't been real cooperative in doing some things that are necessary, and if you're going to be that way, don't look to play ball with the city council. One of the things that I pulled from the consent agenda, and it ended up just the way that it was worded, was they award a contract to rehabilitate West River Parkway from Elton Hills to 37th Street. If you've been on this, you know it's an absolute disaster. If you've cycled on it, you've taken life into your own hands, because the cycling trail alongside the main road is just as bad as the road itself, and I mean you almost need shocks on your bike to make it that stretch. And I was concerned because as it was written up in our consent agenda, it actually made no reference whatsoever to rehabilitating the trail. At the same time, they were rehabilitating the pavement, and that turned out it was just an omission that was in there. The contract will actually rehabilitate that pedestrian trail, as well as, and this is pretty exciting too, is that we're going to have bike lanes on the West River Parkway itself. Now this is good because a lot of people say, well, if you have a bike trail, why do you need bike lanes? And I think the reality is when you have the weather in the winter, the roads always get cleared, the pedestrian trails don't. So people who cycle, and we do have people who cycle year round in this community, they're kind of stuck because they're not given a safe route to go. Since I'm bringing this up, I'll also bring up one of the topics of our public hearing, and something I'm proud to have been a part of is that we have now officially approved the downtown bicycle study, and there will be safe routes now downtown for cyclists to make their way through the downtown. We're going to have some lanes down there for them, which is absolutely wonderful news for the cyclists. And I think it's going to give a lot of people who might have been hesitant in the past the ability to go downtown, understand that there are going to be safe places for them to ride, where they're not going to be constantly exposed to the dangers of careless and or angry, aggressive drivers. So I think this is a win-win for the community. It's part of our Complete Streets vision, where you should be able to get around this town cycling. You should be able to get around this town walking. You should be able to get around on transit or in an automobile. We should not just be an automobile-only city, and we certainly are moving in that direction a lot quicker and actually than I had hoped. Another development that came up that I'm not sure if it'll be I assume, given the location, it'll probably be put into my ward, but basically just south on Salem Road, kind of where that latest gravel pit is, there's a development proposal, and this is our first chance to look at it. I tend to not be a big fan of developments where the average lot size is 1 acre. I think that's contributing to sprawl. In this particular location, if you actually look at the layout and where the floodplains were, and the fact that there's a private lake there, I tend to agree that they did a pretty good job with this. In fact, they did a lot of things that really impressed me. They personally brought up the fact that they were going to do boulevard trees. I wish that every developer was so responsible, then we wouldn't have to be considering a tree ordinance. The one issue that I brought up is they're targeting some of these two people who are looking to downsize their homes into these twin homes that they're going to do in neat style. But the reality is this area is never going to be walkable to anywhere. It does have good cycling connections to this site. either up Maywood Road or on the Zumbro Valley Trail. But there was never any inclination for them to put any sort of a transit stop in there. I think that's something they need to put a bus stop in there, because they're particularly targeting a clientele of people that are not necessarily going to be driving. And it's something that there's a little bit of a stigma of having a bus stop in a neighborhood, and we need to get away. We need to get away from that stigma. It's something that I think is going to be mutually beneficial to the city and that development, and I hope it's something that they do incorporate into the next proposal. It can be done real nice, can fit it right in with the neighborhood, and that's something that I'm going to be pulling for in this area. If we are going to be sprawled out like this one, probably necessarily has to be. There at least needs to be a bus stop so those people that live there have a future transit connection. The tabled item was the boulevard tree planting. I know a lot of people were concerned when we didn't pass that. The developers said they're going to come back to the table and negotiate. Good, I guess. We're going to give them a 1 month delay. We're bringing it back in 4 weeks, and we're going to pass a tree ordinance. Then I have no doubt about that. And not only that, but it's going to be probably a growing ordinance with a number of different things in mind. And I'm not going to say too much on that, because I'm actually going to post a second video specifically talking about why I so strongly support and feel that this tree ordinance is necessary. So you can look for that video today as well. But I just want to mention that we didn't ignore it because nothing's going to be done. That's not the case. I can assure you of that. Now, Tuesday night. Tuesday night was we're going to do a resurfacing of Highway 14 from basically Highway 52 out the east side of town, and particularly of a concern for a lot of individuals is where this passes through the Slatterly Park neighborhood, basically from Broadway to 11th Street Southeast. It's a neighborhood, and there's two ways to look at this. You can look at this as it's a neighborhood that's around a highway, or you can look at it as the highway that has to go through a neighborhood. The City Council has given very clear direction with our Complete Streets policy that that this is a highway that goes through a neighborhood. The neighborhood needs accommodations made. And there's a number of things that we're looking to do to make it a little bit easier for people to cross that highway in the neighborhood. There's going to be probably, in terms of facilitating traffic, there's probably going to be some intersections that are changed pretty significantly, but I want people to be able to safely cross. I want cyclists to be able to be safely cross. And we want these concrete bunkers that we have in the middle. We're hopefully going to do some landscaping with that, and we're going to hopefully tree it up and down. Now, there are some people who don't like trees, and but as far as I'm concerned, they're the best traffic calming we can possibly do. We don't need people speeding through through our residential neighborhoods. We have lots of people who walk in that area. We have a high school that's up there. People try and cross at a very unsafe intersection at that high school. Bottom line is this: the City Council has given direction with our Complete Streets policy that all of these different users matter. And we realize that it's a highway and it's high traffic volume, but at the same time, we're not going to step on the neighborhood either. And I'm going to fight to make sure that happens. Wednesday night, I attended a meeting regarding the Walgreens. Very interesting discussion. Some of it after I left, but I wanted to point out that this is an urban corridor where this is going in, and we expect an urban style facility to be built there. There were a couple recommendations that the neighborhood association had, and what really concerned me about this, and what I'm going to address pretty heavily, is the fact that the notifications were sent out. They were sent out to such a small area that the Kutzke Park Neighborhood Association, imagine Kutzke never even got notified of that, and that's something that needs to be addressed immediately. That cannot be happening. We need to draw up, if things are happening in a region that directly affects the neighborhood association, they deserve to be notified. They weren't on this point, and as such, we were able to have this tabled until they can meet with the neighborhood association. Now, the neighborhood association strongly supports this going in there, and I do too. But we want to make sure it's done the right way. And they had a couple specific concerns in terms of it wasn't too pedestrian friendly the way it was laid out right now. And in addition to that, they were essentially making a corner very unattractive to pedestrians as well. Small changes can be made to make this project work, and I'd rather, I think the biggest problem is we tried to put a suburban style development in an urban center, and as such, you have to make some compromises that were kind of goofy. So it sounds like the folks building the Walgreens facility are willing to cooperate. I look forward to working with them. I know the neighborhood wants this to go off. I want this to go off. We just want to make sure it goes off the right way. Our neighborhoods deserve that, and we also need to address the fact that we need to get the proper notifications out, and that did not happen this time. So I thank you for watching again, and look for my other video specifically dealing with the tree ordinance.